Hey everyone, and welcome to this hangout, why you don't have everything you want in life, and more importantly, what you can do to change it. Today I'm going to talk to Teresa Stoa. She is one of my greatest friends. She is an access consciousness facilitator, and she's a veterinarian, and she works with all kinds of animals with applying the access consciousness tools with amazing result, I might add. And she's, like I said, one of my greatest friends. And one of the things I love so much about her is her willingness to contribute. So she contributes to all the people, and she contributes to animals and the planet. And tonight she's going to contribute to us even more with this free hangout. And here she is now, Teresa Stoa.
Hey! Wow, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say after that introduction. Thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah, and so tonight we are going to talk about this subject, and why we're going to talk about the subject is because Therese has created a class around this, why you don't have everything you want in life. And I know probably a lot of you watching have tried a lot of different techniques and methods. You might have tried visualizations, you might have tried the law of attraction, and maybe you've had some results, and maybe you haven't got everything you want so far. So that's what we're going to explore tonight and see if we can dig deeper into why that is. Why is it that we haven't created our dream life yet when we have the tools and we have different techniques? So what is it that is actually stopping us? So Therese, do you want to tell us a little bit about you before we start with questions and everything we're going to explore tonight?
Yeah, wow. What do I say? You did such an amazing introduction, so I guess I can.
Well, you're a Norwegian, you're a Turk, and you're an infinite being. And what else?
Exactly. That was even better. Yeah, so I work with these tools from Access Consciousness a lot, like every day, both in my job with animals and with people, but also on myself. So I've been there and done it all, I think, when it comes to this getting what you want in life. So that's how we started to play with this idea of this class too, because I remember seeing the law of attraction. When did it come out? It was like when it was pretty new. I saw the film or the movie, The Law of Attraction, and everyone was talking about it, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, I'm going to try it. And so I was sitting there, and I don't remember anymore what they said to do, but I think it was something like, ask and believe and you shall receive. That sticks in my mind somewhere anyway. So that's what I did, and I was sitting there, and I was visualizing and really focusing or trying to focus about seeing all the details of what you wanted, and I was like picturing this house that I wanted and like my dream life, and I was visualizing and visualizing, and I had so much trouble with it because, for one, I have like the attention span of a goldfish, so it's really hard for me to sit and try to visualize, because while I'm visualizing, I'm forgetting what I'm visualizing about. So that was one challenge that I had. And the other thing was, like, the day after, I was going to do it again, and then I forgot what I was asking for. So I had to make up new stuff. And all of this, it didn't really work that well for me, I have to say. So I was kind of frustrated, and I was like, okay, this doesn't work. And I just kind of forgot about it for a while until I discovered Access Consciousness and the tools from Access. And then I haven't really thought about the law of attraction for a while, but I have thought about like what it is that I want in life. And I know you and I have been talking about that a lot too. And everybody seems to like have some idea of what they would like and get frustrated when they don't get it, or they don't know how, or why doesn't it show up, and what do I have to do, or like all these questions that we have that we aren't really taught how to go about this stuff. So for me, it's been a lot of trial and error, I have to say, and it's still an exploration into what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah,
So
wow.
yeah, that's kind of the basic for background for this class and this hangout too.
Cool. Yeah, I can really relate to that, trying to, and I think they even wrote like focus at one thing at a time or one area at a time, and that doesn't really work for me either, because then I get really bored and I don't do it.
I know. That's exactly what I did. It doesn't work for me anyway. The same with meditation. I tried to meditate too for the longest time, and I was beating myself up so bad for being such a bad, what do you call that, meditator? Person
Practitioner of meditation.
Exactly. I was such a bad practitioner of meditation because my mind just goes in a million different directions if I don't have like something that I'm really enjoying doing. Then I can be in the moment and just enjoy it. But to sit completely still for more than a minute or 3 minutes, that's not working. It's really, really hard.
Exactly, and we found out more and more like how aware we are too. And when we are that aware, it's so easy also to pick up on everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions around us. So that might have an impact on us when we're trying to meditate too.
Exactly. It's kind of hard. It's like having 100 TV channels and radio channels on at the same time and then trying to focus and not listen into what's going on there.
Exactly.
Not
Yeah.
too
I still get surprised of just how aware we are, and you guys at home too, probably.
Yeah, that's another amazing. That's I started to really, really get this with the Access tools, like how aware I was in the beginning. Gary and Dane in Access, they are the founders of Access Consciousness. For those of you listening who don't know what Access Consciousness is, but I think I heard it like in the first thing I listened to, that you're so much more aware than you think you are, and you're like the psychic SpongeBob of the universe, picking up everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the more I applied all the tools, and the more I kind of incorporated them into my life, I get like a new level of this every single day. It's like, oh, right, that's just my awareness. That has nothing to do with me. Okay. And it's so cool because then you can start to like move beyond it. And that's one of the things why we don't have everything we want to, I think, because we're so wrapped up in all this stuff going on that we're just aware of.
Exactly, right. And I just totally forgot that I didn't even introduce myself because I was so excited to introduce you. So I'm Pernilla Helmersson, and I'm an Access Consciousness Facilitator too. And since we're going to be talking, it seems like a little bit about Access, maybe we should like let them know a little bit more about what it is. So it's basically techniques, tools, and processes to get you, to empower you to know that you know, and to create the dream life that you know is possible for you. So yeah, I bet we're going to dive in deeper to that. But for now, you know a little bit more about it.
I love that. Now you know what Access is.
Now I give you the full picture.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So I love that you started talking about what is stopping us from creating our dream life. What else is there stopping us?
Oh my God, where do I begin? So I think if I just in no particular order should list up a few things that I've noticed that I've been using to stop me, or that has been stopping me from getting what I want, because I know that usually I do get what I want, whatever it is, if I'm asking for it. So one thing is, I think a lot of people aren't really asking for it. Like we forget to actually ask for what we want, because we spend so much time thinking about or figuring out how to get it, or
The struggle
what
of
it
it
is.
all.
Yeah, like that it's hard, so we forget to ask. Like, okay, I would like this now. Thank you. So one thing is to ask for what you want. Another thing is to get clear about what it is you want. That's actually harder than it sounds. And when I did this law of attraction stuff that I was talking about a long time, did you tune into that at all, the law of attraction, when it came out?
Yes, I did. I did read the book and watch the movie and all of that. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So I remember what I was asking for back then. It was like, oh, I want a lot of money. I want to like be a millionaire, and I want this car and this house. And half the stuff I was asking to get wasn't really what I wanted at all. But I thought I wanted it because that's easy. If somebody asks you what you want, you can have anything you want. It's very often like, okay, a lot of money, a fabulous house, a lot of travel, and like the normal things.
Exactly, and that's kind of like what's expected of you in this reality to be wanting to have too. You know, it's easy to tap into what everyone else thinks that they want, and than you
Exactly.
think you wanted.
Yes, so I thought I wanted all these things that I didn't really even want. So once I started to actually look at what was important for me and what I really wanted, then it was a lot easier to get it too. So I think that's one part of like getting everything you want, or why we don't have it yet. And then
So be more clear, you say. So
it's
how
so
would you
much too late
suggest
sometimes.
be getting more clear on what you really want?
Well, yeah. First of all, ask yourself, what is it that I like? If I could have anything right now, what is it that I would really like to have? What is it that would make would make my life easier, or what is it that is important to me in some way? And it doesn't have to be like it's so important to me that I can't think about anything else, but kind of like just whatever, but be a little bit specific too. Um, and then the asking part is actually also very helpful to get clear about what it is that you want, because while you're sitting there thinking about what to ask for, you get a lot of input or information about if it's something that you would really want or if it's not really. Like a good example is me, when you forget what you were going to ask about, and you forget what you wanted to ask for, it's probably not that important to you.
Exactly, and maybe not a lot of energy on that for you right then.
Exactly.
And another thing I see is like we're so used to thinking about what we don't want. Like we don't want that work, and we don't want people like that around us, and we don't want that. And to actually look at what we really want, we're not really trained in doing that. So I love that you're bringing up that tool.
Yes, and that's a awesome point too. To instead of, I would say like every time you notice yourself going to, oh, I'm so sick and tired of this, or I don't want this in my life anymore, or this has to stop. Go on the flip side and look at, okay, what do I want instead?
I
And it's
like the
really
flip side. Go to the
the
flip
flip
side. Let's
side.
go to the flip side.
It's so easy. Just go to the flip side, turn the page. And it's like it's so funny because when I was doing a lot of dog training, like a couple of years ago. And what with dogs, it's like a basic principle that if you want a dog to do something and it's doing something you don't want him to do at the moment, you have to teach him what to do instead. You can't just say, no, don't do that. You have to teach him, okay, what do I actually want you to do? So it's kind of the same can be applied to us people. So instead of like looking at what it is you don't want, try out, well, okay, what do I want to be doing instead, or what am I asking for instead here?
Yeah, because I got this picture like if you think to yourself like I don't want that, and you're standing in a crossroad and you don't choose anything else, all you're gonna end up is standing in the crossroad.
Yeah, and that brings me to the next like big thing why we don't have everything we want in life, because we have no idea what it is to choose. So most of us are like, okay, we know that our choices is what creates our lives, and we know that we have choice, and most of us believe we have free choice too, like we can choose whatever, and we have no idea what choice actually is. Like, what is choice? If I'm sitting at home doing my manifestation or visualizations in my couch and saying, I'm a millionaire, I choose to have money, a lot of people think that that's choice, but that's not actually choosing. That's more like fantasizing.
Exactly. So
So there's a difference.
what would you say true choice is?
But choice is like, if I'm sitting, okay, just a really silly example because it was come to mind now. So if I'm sitting in my couch and I'm really thirsty, I would really like something to drink. Then sitting there thinking, oh my God, I'm so thirsty. I'm having a drink now. I'm having a drink. I'm choosing to have a drink now. That doesn't get me anything. If I actually get my ass off the couch and go to my kitchen and get something to drink, I would get my drink. So,
Yeah.
so that's the choice. Like getting my ass off the couch and walking into the kitchen and getting my drink, that's the choice. So until I actually move, I haven't really made the choice because I haven't done anything different.
Exactly. And this is another thing I love about Therese, that she doesn't buy any bullshit as real and true, and she doesn't align and agree with you. So she's not the kind of friend I want to call if I want people to dwell with or like to feel sorry about me or have a pity party. She's like, she's going to tell you like it is, and she's got this like razor sharp awareness. And if you ever been to her class, you know what I'm talking about. And it's all done from this like huge caring. I mean, sometimes it might not seem like that in the moment, but it's actually from true caring. And that's what I love, like one of the qualities with Therese, that she always have your back when she's facilitating you. Yeah.
Thank you. That's so awesome to hear that. I get all moved here. Maybe I will start crying.
Yay. That is okay.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of things you were talking about there that was really cool, that we kind of like swooshed by a little bit. But yeah, I love what you're saying about choice, that when we actually choose, we create more awareness, and we create more awareness of what the next thing is that we want to choose. And yeah, like you were talking about, every choice creates in our world.
And that's the awesome thing when you start to choose, no matter what it is, and if you like get out of the importance of choice, because we all think that our choices are so freaking important. It's like a big choice. Everything is such a big deal for us because we've been kind of ingrained from, or I don't know about everyone else listening, but I have, and not by ill-meaning people in any way. They were trying to teach me about life, but we were always like taught that before you make a choice, you have to consider what's the best choice, right? So that you make the best choice and not the worst choice, or yeah, to get what you want. And that's kind of limiting, because I know now that I don't put so much significance on what I choose, as long as I choose something. It kind of allows you to open up for new possibilities and new choices, because I know choosing one thing always opens up for at least like 5 other things lining up for you that you can choose from in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, you continuously open up the doors to greater possibilities. And another thing with like trying to choose the right choice or the perfect or correct choice, that is that when I was doing that, I noticed that I wanted to see like the whole staircase before I even took the first step. And that's not the way it works, right? You know, the universe gives you like small pieces of information, and you have to keep asking, and then you're going to get there wherever you're going. But like, it's hard to choose if you're going to have to see the whole picture before you choose. That's what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes, exactly. So what if you could choose? The cool thing is in Access, there's like this, the whole system of Access, or the whole toolbox from Access is made to empower you to know that you know, right? I know you know this, Pernilla, but for the other people. So what if you could trust yourself enough to know that you instantly know what's going to be a choice that creates something more? Then you don't have to see the whole staircase, as you said, or to see the whole like roadmap in front of you before you choose. You can just know that, okay, this choice is going to create something. I don't know what it is, but it's going to create something that's going to open up for more possibilities.
Yeah, exactly. And I love what Gary's saying. He's saying just like, bring out a coin. And like one side is that choice, and another side is that choice. And whatever whatever it is, like you're going to have some kind of awareness if it's like, no, I wish it was the other one, or yay, I got the one I really wanted, you know?
Yes.
So what if it could be as easy as that? And what if you could just choose to take the first step?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The famous first steps.
Exactly. Whatever that is or looks like.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing with asking questions, which we do a lot in Access, is gaining the awareness and just choose more from there. So just start asking questions too, I guess.
Asking questions is always a good idea if you want to get what you want. And I think also what I started with, like, there's so much to talk about why we don't have everything we want. But another element is that I know you and I have been talking a lot about this, Pernilla, is like being willing to be or do whatever it takes to get there, or to get it, whatever it is. And we have so many points of view about who we are and who we're not, and what we are and what we're not. And what's okay and what's not okay for us to be. So that's another, like if you're constantly asking for something and it's not showing up for you, it's probably that there's something you're not willing to be or do that is stopping it from like showing up. So that's another like really awesome tool to use, is like if you keep asking, looking at, okay, am I making any choices that will bring me closer to this, or am I not choosing and sitting here fantasizing? And I'm bringing up this fantasy thing because it's been a really big one for me, because I'm like the daydreamer of magnitude, always been. Like I had this whole fantasy world in my mind that I can fantasize about anything. Just give me a word and I can create a whole little fantasy around it. And I've been looking at it so much because it's like so unproductive. It's like it doesn't create shit. And so that's why I keep bringing up this fantasy, because if you're not really doing choices or taking any steps towards what you want, it's gonna just stay a fantasy. Sorry to say that. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So what you're saying, like another thing is, if you don't get what you're asking for, maybe you're not willing to be it or have it, or maybe you don't even want it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it can be any of those. It can be like you don't really want it. It's not something that you would want for yourself if you were actually being honest with yourself. Or it can be you're not making any choices. You're not choosing anything to bring you closer. Or it's something you're not willing to be or do that would actually have it show up. And things usually show up totally different too than what we expect them to. So that's something I'm continuously amazed by. Like everything I ask for show up totally different than what I think it's going to.
About that still, like all the time.
Yes.
Like you still get surprised that it never shows up the way you think it's going to. Like, duh, when are we going to get it?
Exactly. And I like everything we have in our lives is what we've been asking for, because that's how we create our lives. So I know that everything in my life is something, sorry, that I have been asking for. So if it's not showing up for you and you're asking for it, and so what's stopping it? Or are you asking for something that is like contradictory, that can't show up at the same time with more energy? It's also like something to look at.
Yes. And I remember when I started, I think Access or all kinds of things I started, but that I had like this big picture, like, oh, I want to have big classes and I want to do this and that and that. And like I was like so far in the future that I didn't even see like the steps I had to take to get there. I was like, well, if I'm not going to have a big class, I'm not going to do it at all. Instead of just like, okay, so what can I do now to expand my classes? Or what is the first step to speak in front of a lot of people? Or what can I do today to change this? Instead of just like, no, I'm not going to do anything because it's not the way I want it right now.
Yes. We're so cute.
Yeah.
Always so bright.
And what I've like seen lately is that you get also what you're willing to receive. Because now I think I'm willing to receive more, so therefore I can have more and create more because I'm willing to receive it. Yeah.
Definitely.
And that might be something to look at too.
Yeah, and I think we've like given people a headache already with all the things why they don't have everything they want. But it is like looking at what and receiving is something totally different than what we think it is. We think like receiving is accepting something, like somebody wants to give you a gift or wants to give you a hug and you accept it. That's what we usually think that receiving is. But what if receiving is more of a when you're just being and having fun, like willingness to have fun. If you're willing to have fun, you can have anything and just be.
Yeah, that's what I love about, because me and Therese have this specialty class called What Else Is Possible, when we play at looking at possibilities and stuff. And I love the whole process that we have when we create. Is like our standard operation question is like, how much fun can we have? And it's like so much more fun when you function from that space. And we also have the willingness to look at whatever comes up. So it can be like really intense too, but it always ends up in more fun than it was like in the beginning. At least I think so.
The fun exponentializes.
Yes.
So do we have any, are anyone sending in questions for us to talk about, or?
We have some questions.
Because I noticed I can go very wide with this topic, so maybe it will be good for some
Yeah.
people to say, hey, this is what I want to get out of this call. Get a grip,
Maybe it would
ladies.
be a good idea for me to open up the question box.
Oh, okay.
I'm so busy talking to you.
I know.
Okay, so Anne says, what if you don't know what you really want? We've talked a little bit about that, but maybe you can expand a little bit more.
Yeah, so I would say look at what makes you happy. What is it that you're, how do I say that? What is it that kind of makes you light up or get excited or have this joy or be more of you when you are it, like just through your everyday life, whatever it is that you're doing in a normal day. Um, Look at what's occurring when you're really, really happy and when you're really like, oh, this is so cool. I want more of this. So that could be a way to start to get more clarity about what you would like to have. And then just ask for more of that.
Yeah, I love that. I'm sorry, I was a little bit distracted. I'm reading questions.
Yeah,
But
good.
definitely, like, what gets you really excited? And
Mhm.
maybe even make a list. I know I'm a fan of lists. Maybe you're
Yeah,
not
you're
so
the
much.
list lady. I'm more like
Yeah.
I take it on the top of my head, and then if I don't remember it, I'm like, it's probably not that important.
You're so funny. I was talking to Therese yesterday to like check that all the technical stuff worked and stuff, and I was like, "So, is there anything special you want me to ask?" And she was like, "No, I'm just gonna wing it, because it's like it's not your style really to plan ahead. You're
No.
dealing with the energy that is up."
Yes, it's so funny. People have always said like, "Oh my God, you're such a restless person," because I am really like I love doing things on the go and changing stuff and just adapting. And I think it's really fun because then you can actually allow stuff to show up that you can't plan for. Because my idea is like if I have to plan, I have to take all the information I have like at one point in time and solidify it down into a piece of paper with a list or whatever it is. And then I'm using that to limit myself. It's possible that other people don't do that, but I do that because then I get so fixated on this list that I have to follow that I can get to have like tons of possibilities and other cool stuff going around, but I don't even notice because I'm so focused on this plan. So
That is
that's
so true. Yeah, and
that's
it
why
can
I don't
change
do that.
too.
Exactly.
And if you're so focused on your list, you're maybe not even noticing that it's changing. You're like, I'm gonna do that and that and that and that. So.
Yeah, and again, lists probably work for a lot of people, but not for me. So I'm not a big fan of lists
Well,
for me.
maybe have a list that works for you, and like if you're willing
Exactly.
to change it up, and yeah, whatever works for you, right?
Yes.
There was something else that I was gonna say, but I forgot.
Oh no.
Maybe it will come back to. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I like. That life gets more like an adventure when you're willing to, like you're saying, not plan ahead or not make lists like you do, because you can be like, oh, let's go on a road trip. Okay, and then all of a sudden we're in a different city, we're meeting new people, and we have like a bunch of new awareness on what we want to do and like create just by sitting in the car together, listening to music and singing together.
I know. And it's so much fun. I think I just love unplanned adventures. It's like you say, it's an adventure. So yeah, I like my whole life to be an adventure.
Yeah, and too to look at like how do you create? Because we've said so many times like we're gonna sit down and we're gonna have a meeting about this, and we're gonna bring our computers to a cafe and create, and it never works. It never works. It never have worked so far. Because when we plan that we're gonna create, it never works out that way. Because that's what we realized when we were on the road trip that oh maybe it works better for us when we're on the go, we're in the movement, we're like not even focusing on creation. The creation just will just allow it to happen and occur, and when we're just being, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Was there more to Anne's question, or was that what she
Yeah.
wanted to
Do
know?
you
What
do
she
you want
wants?
another question?
Yeah, I'll take some other.
Sharon asks, how can I make the journey as well as the destination even more fun that I have dreamed of?
Hey, Sharon. I know
Mhm.
Sharon, that's why I say, hey, Sharon. Um, so how can you make the destination and the journey? even more fun that you could ever have dreamt of?
Yes.
Well, start asking for it. Um, and I ask every day, like, how can I have even more fun that I thought and than I can ever imagine possible today, every day, and then more fun shows up and more fun shows up. So I think Sharon is pretty good already at having fun. So I have a sneaky suspicion that she's probably already having a lot of fun, but just ask for even more
Yeah,
and
and I
work
love what
whatever is
she's,
possible.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I love that she's talking about like having fun along the way and not just when you get to the destination, because sometimes we're so busy being in our future in our head that we forget to live now.
Yes, exactly. And like this is really weird, and I haven't really totally figured out what this is all about yet, but I had some some awarenesses about the big revelation I'm gonna share with you now.
Oh my God, here it
No,
comes.
it's not a big revelation, but it's like, I don't know if other people have this, but I'm gonna share it anyway just in case. So I think from as long as I can remember, probably from when I was like 10 years old or something, that's how far I can remember. Uh, I've had this like impatient wait, like I'm waiting for something. Like I was waiting for my life to start. I knew that my life should be like something, and I was waiting for it to start, and I was waiting, waiting, waiting. Even if I was doing stuff in my life, I was going to school and doing all the normal stuff that people do. I had this waiting feeling all the time. And I've been looking at that so much and wondering, what the fuck am I waiting for? Like, what is it that I'm waiting for? And then when I let go of all these fantasies and all these plans and futures that I decided had to be, and started to, like you said, like being in the moment, like being present with what was and enjoying the stuff that goes on, like a little bird that stops by my veranda to say hi. That happens for me a lot. That might not be a normal one, but anything that you enjoy during your day, like the small things, and just be present with it and enjoying it, then that actually got me out of that feeling of waiting for life to begin and waiting for whatever it is you want to show up. And then stuff shows up really much more fast as well. So it's really cool. Stop waiting.
Yeah, I love that. I can totally relate to what you're talking about because I was always like on the run. I was always on the go when I was younger. I was like, I didn't have the patience to hang around after school talking to people. I just wanted to get home. And when I got home, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do here? But I was always like on the go. I was always stressed. I was always like, oh, what's next? What's next? What's next? Where do I go? What do I do? What, you know? But like, yeah, I can totally relate. Like when you start just living your life, it gets more fun. It gets to be more of an adventure. And like you say, you get like stuff can show up more easily because you're not so attached and invested in that it has to show up and look a different way. And another cool side effect of this is that the universe actually awards us for playing and having fun. So what's the worst thing that can happen? That you have some fun and nothing happens?
And it is really awesome way to discover what you would like to ask for too. So many of the things that I'm asking for in my life is a result of me just being present with whatever shows up and recognizing that, oh my God, this is so awesome. And then, oh, I want that. And then I get another idea that might, like, because something triggers my mind or whatever it triggers, something that gets me to think about something else that I want to ask for. So that's for whoever asks for how they know what to ask for. That's how a lot of my questions come into reality as well. Just like being present and recognizing what is super cool, and then, oh, I want more of that, or I want this other thing that kind of reminds me of that too. So that's how I create my list of what I want to ask for.
Yeah, I love that. And when I look at her question again, what if I don't know what you really want? Like that's not, you don't even have to know. That's what I love about the access questions. You can just ask like, what do I decide to create? What would be fun for me? What are the infinite possibilities? Like you don't even have to know. That's what I love about it. And then the universe can just show you what would be fun.
Yes. And you can ask for fun, or you can ask, it doesn't have to be like, when I think I said something like you need to be a little bit specific, but also it can be like me, I like to have fun. So I can ask for more fun, and then stuff shows up that I think is fun, and I get more awareness about what to ask for because I get more awareness of what I think is fun. So kind of like one thing leads to another. Like you say, you don't have to have the answer right away what you would like to ask for, but just start with something. Like everyone, I would hope, has like a couple of things that they know that they would like, and start asking for that, and then see what shows up.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And another big thing you told me once was because I was asking for stuff and I was always asking like, oh, so what would it take for me to have like whatever it was, like a bigger project that was really well paid, or because I always asked to get well paid for everything I was asking for, and you were like, well, what if you can just ask for what you want and then just ask for money as another thing? It doesn't have to be related, and then like so many more things can show up for you.
Yeah.
If you just don't focus on the money or whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're so used to linking everything together as well. Like we need to, like you said, if I want a project, I want to have a project, and it has to be something that pays well, and it has to be in a specific area or city, and it has to be with a specific person maybe, or like we link so much in, so it's really hard to get it then, because you're like limiting all your options of something that might be even more fun for you that you haven't even thought of to show up.
Exactly, and that just made it so much lighter. Now I just ask for whatever I want, and it's just like an adventure to see what shows up, and yeah, and an ever-expanding adventure of living. And Anne says, "Thank you, ladies," and we have more questions here somewhere.
Ooh, questions! I love questions.
I love questions. Yeah, that's what makes the world go round.
It's a little musical.
Sometimes we have singing in our classes. I like that.
Yeah, if you feel like
Sharon actually had a longer question.
okay.
So I'm going to read it. What is it that I don't have that I want? That I don't know that I want? Something different from stuff I've done. What invitation can I give to the universe to open these possibilities? What do I need to be doing to prepare myself for this new, likely to become obsessions? So there's a lot of question in this question. So let me know if you want me to repeat parts of it.
Okay. So I think Sharon did a really good job asking the question in the beginning, like, what is it that I want that I don't even know that I want that I haven't had yet, or something like that. So that's a brilliant question to ask, like ask yourself. And then what was it? What she could give to the universe to have that come easier, or what was it?
It was, what invitation can I give to the universe to open up these possibilities?
Yeah, so the invitation to the universe for actually delivering what we ask for is actually the question. That's the invitation. So asking questions is the invitation. That's all the invitation you need. And then the only thing other that is required, and I know this can be a little frustrating because it's like everyone has different definitions of what it is, but like receiving, like the what do you call that? The thing we talked about in the beginning, law of attraction.
Yeah.
Even said like ask, believe, and you shall receive. So there is some truth to that. It's just like missing some more information, I think. But being willing to receive, or being in a kind of a modus where you're able to receive, is just being yourself. So that's also a great invitation for the universe to deliver what you ask for. When you're being, you have your barriers down, you're not like deciding a lot of stuff about everything you see, but you're just like, okay, I know that we change reality. Because I don't know if people know this, but I check out a lot of like quantum physics stuff because it gets me so like excited and so motivated. And quantum physics has a lot of experiments and stuff that show that we can actually change reality. And just by being here and observing what's going on, we're creating reality, or physical reality, even like the physicality of what we see around us. And so all this stuff is proven by science, and yet somewhere we have a hard time believing that it can be like that. Like, okay, but how come when I'm thinking about a pink elephant, why isn't the pink elephant in my living room, if that was true, right? So Yeah, that's a whole long topic. Maybe we'll go into that in the whole day class, maybe.
Yeah. So
But
you're telling us that just by looking by molecules, we can change them.
exactly. And the awesome thing with that is like just being willing to be instead of having all these decisions about what something has to be is what creates. So in Access, they talk a lot about being in allowance or having no judgments, like not deciding what is right and wrong and not deciding what is good and bad and all of that stuff. So that's also a huge part of inviting the universe to deliver what you're asking for is just to be that space of, yeah, I know I'm using kind of like weirdo words, being the space. How do you be space when you're actually a physical body, right? But just being willing to be open to the possibilities, to say it like that. Maybe that's the easier way to say it. Be open to the possibilities and just be yourself. That's a part of receiving. So you invite the universe to deliver what you want for by asking. And it can be like Sharon was talking about, and you were talking about earlier too, Pernilla, like you can just ask for something that is greater than you've ever asked for before, even if you don't know what that is. But then receiving it, part of that is like to be open with this space of not having so many decisions about what it is or how it's supposed to look. And then trusting that if quantum physics can prove it, if the double slit experiment proves that there is a wave of possibilities that we solidify just by looking at it, then maybe that stuff does work. And what I've been looking at a lot lately too is like, okay, if you don't totally trust that you have this power, because I know a lot of us don't like have that trust, what is it that you're not trusting? Is it that you're not trusting the universe and the laws and the quantum physics that it's possible, or is it that you're not trusting you, that you're able to open up for that possibility?
Mhm.
So yeah, so when you kind of come out of that decision, all the decisions and judgments you have about yourself and what you're capable of, and start to be in the question, like question too, what am I capable of that I haven't even considered, or what am I capable of that would totally blow my mind today?
Yeah,
And then
definitely.
tomorrow, okay, what am I capable of now that would totally blow my mind again and again and again? And I wonder how much magic could really show up.
Yeah, and that keeps surprising me too, like how like potent creators we are. Whether it's potent creators of crap or whether it is a really cool creation, we're really potent, and that's really awesome. And I just got like all excited when you were talking about quantum physics, because it is like when you ask a question, the quantum entanglements actually go out and create what it is you're desiring.
Mm-hmm.
And that is
Yeah.
also
So asking the question is opening up for that space where you as the creator of your reality can start to get this wave of possibility to solidify into physical actualization or physical things that you can actually see and touch and smell around you.
Oh, I love that wave of possibilities. And another thing is just keep asking, because I know like, oh, I asked for it once and it's not here. Like I asked for the pink elephant in my living room and it's not here. But sometimes you just got to keep asking, because it's not, I'm sorry to say this, but it's not all about you. Like the universe sometimes have to rearrange stuff, and there's timing, and there's people around you that needs to get what you're getting maybe. And yeah, timing.
Mm-hmm.
And she had yeah, I just want to finish the question. So she says,
Yeah.
what do I need to be doing to prepare myself for this? Yeah, what I'm asking for. But she didn't, you were talking about not preparing, just being willing to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, when she asked, it likely become obsessions. I guess what she's talking about is, being invested in the outcome when she asks stuff. Do you have anything around that you want to?
What was the last part? Can you just read the last part? I didn't totally get that.
No, the last part was that, what do I need to be doing to prepare myself for this new, likely to become obsessions?
Aha. So I I think she might be talking about obsessions in more in the form of like when this shows up, that's something that hasn't been there for her before, that she will be really, really, really excited about it. Maybe.
Okay.
So, but what you need to do to prepare is just don't be prepared, and be prepared for it to show up totally different than whatever you could ever prepare for.
So your advice, don't prepare.
Exactly. My advice is don't prepare, be willing to receive it, and be willing for it to show up totally different than what you could ever imagine.
I love that. And here's another question. It's in Swedish, so I'm going to translate it the best I can.
Oh, awesome. On the fly translations. One of Pernilla's many talents here.
Yes. Hey, I started my Access Bar classes in April last year, and I love it. I've had 4 classes now. I work with Access sessions, and I'm out daily on the internet listening and reading stuff. But oh my God, it seems like I'm stuck in this big mush. I'm doing clearings and I'm letting go of a lot of things, but it's not like taking me where I want to go. Like I feel stuck.
Okay. So first of all, awesome that you're doing classes and getting out there and starting. So yay you, whoever Swedish.
Yay, Anne!
Yay, Anne.
Yay!
And then, was there a question there? So the question would be something like how to get unstuck, or
Yes.
okay. So
that she could really get to what she really wants.
yeah, so are you asking for it would be my question. So are you asking for what you really want? And oh, okay, so something different too. Like sometimes we're doing something in a certain way and we're expecting a result. Like say you're putting up a class and you're doing it in a way, and then you expect your class to be bigger or whatever it is. So sometimes when we're not getting to the results that we would like to have, we look at what we're doing and we're thinking, okay, well, how can I kind of tweak this to make it work? What do I need to change to make it work? So what I would say there is to just like throw all of your previous how-tos out the door, like get rid of them. Like pretend that you were starting today, you'd never done anything before, and look at how else could you do it? Like what else could you do? Not how you could do it differently, but just something totally different. So what could you be doing totally different that would create the results that you're looking for? So that's one idea for how to get unstuck. And then also, like we were talking about, everything you have in your life right now is because you're asked for it in some way, right? Because we've created it in some way, and I call that asking for it. So what are you asking for that you don't even know that you're asking for, but that is showing up for you that you would like to change? That's another one, because if it's there, you've been asking for it. That I know that for sure. So, and what totally different can you ask for to get something different?
And that reminds me of what we were talking about before. It never looks the way we think it's going to. So sometimes it can show up like this uncomfortable change, like you might have been asking for a new job and you get fired. Or so another question that I use is like, is this the change I've been asking for?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one too. If you're wondering, where did this come from? Okay, have I asked for this? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's both annoying and really super cool to be the creator of your life, because then you can get to uncreate stuff that you don't like.
Mm-hmm. I think it's, yeah, mostly super cool to be the creator of my life. I wouldn't, like, would you trust anyone else to create your life for you? If you could choose, like, okay, I can choose to create it myself, or I can hand that whole task over to somebody else.
No,
Would you
I would
really?
not. That would kind of suck, because then I wouldn't get a say in my life.
Exactly. It's like, No, I don't think so.
And like what we've been talking about a lot is that is actually the adventure of living. Just keep on creating and keep on choosing, keep on asking and receiving and being.
Yeah.
I love it. And I just really would like to recommend everyone that you can just listen to this or watch it over and over again, because like probably what you can tell, like Therese is coming out with a lot of different questions and a lot of different tools, and there's a lot of awareness there. So it wouldn't hurt if you want to watch it again. So you're more than welcome to. You have the links now, so go ahead. And so Therese, we have actually 10 minutes left. So how do you want to use your last 10 minutes?
How do I?
Anything you want to add that you haven't added so far?
Well, I'm always like wondering if I've talked about what I said I was going to talk about, because I guess that's what comes with not having lists and preparing. But I know, like,
What came up for me was like this question that would be cool with, because we've been talking about with receiving. So one question that we done in class, I know, is like, what energy, space, and consciousness can me, my body be to be the energy of unlimited receiving? And play with that and see what shows up with your receiving.
That's really yummy. And also, when I talk to people that are not doing access or haven't been doing access, and just talking about this concept or idea that you can ask for stuff and have it show up, and then I know a lot of people go into almost like a freeze, or like, what? But I have I'm happy, I have everything, and I'm like thinking that if you don't have anything more to ask for, then kind of life becomes kind of boring. That's my point of view. So I'm hoping too that it would be like an invitation to start looking at if you could have anything, like anything. What would you like to have? And just start to play with it, not be so serious about it. Like, how much fun can it be to play with having what you would like to have, and start to look at what you don't want, what you don't already have. And I think too, a lot of people are a little bit afraid to start looking at what they want, because they're scared that they will be disappointed with the life they already have. Like, oh, if I start to really look at what I would like, then I will be miserable with what I already have. But maybe it's totally opposite. Maybe it's like you get excited about all the things that is coming.
Exactly. And you were talking about, like, so what you're saying is, if you're bored, maybe you're not asking for enough stuff.
Maybe you're not, yeah, maybe you're not asking for enough stuff, or maybe you're not like tapping into all that power of creating your life that you really have. And how much fun could it be to start that and do that? And like, stop buying into all the limitations. Like, I don't know about you, but I hear a lot of like limitations people have. It can be like, no, but it's so easy for you because you don't have kids. That's one. So I know a lot of people with kids who create amazing lives anyway. And it can be, yeah, well, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't like money, time, kids, and being sick is probably like the most common ones.
Those are the most acceptable ones and the most classic ones, I guess.
Yeah, and what I find hilarious is, like, it's not excuses that does anything to me, because I don't really care if people create their lives or not. It's not like it's affecting me in a direct way. Well, we're all connected, so it kind of affects me anyway, but not in a direct way like that. But I'm like, if it doesn't really work for you and you want more, then start to look at what excuses you're using for why you don't have exactly what you would like to, and start to look at if those excuses, if that's really true, or do you know even one person, like personally, or that you've seen on TV or in the media or somewhere, who has something that you would like and that has exactly the same limitation that you say you're having.
Yeah, and like, yeah, because the only person that can truly stop you, that is you, right?
I know. So it's all about me, actually. Everything's about me, and if you're looking, everything's about you.
Yeah, and yeah, I like that what you were talking about, and that you sometimes might get disappointed if you ask and you don't get it, and if you look at your life and you're like, maybe some people are like, well, I'm happy with what I've had, but then maybe you can just ask for more ease, more fun. I mean, you can always have more ease with what you're doing or more fun. So it's not maybe necessarily about changing your whole life, right?
Well, it can be. I guess people are different, but I'm like, I can be happy. Like right now, I'm happy with what I have, and I would still want more because that's, to me, that is living. Like always looking for more is what living is, and then enjoying the ride, kind of like you said, like enjoying the adventure.
Yeah,
Um,
thriving instead of just barely surviving.
exactly, and I just would really like everyone to know that that's a possibility that everyone has, and then whether they choose to or not, that's totally up to them. And either way is totally fine as long as they know that that's a possibility. It is possible. You can have a life that is adventurous, and the adventure is in looking how the things you're asking for is going to show up. It's not if it's going to show up; it's how it's going to show up. That's the
Yeah.
adventure.
People are just opening up the doors and like, oh, maybe I can look at it now. Maybe maybe I can take the step now. I love that.
Yeah.
And I hear these questions in my head that I probably pick up from someone, that if I get all my dreams and if I get everything I've dreamed about, then what? Wouldn't life be boring if I didn't have any dreams to
Who says you wouldn't have any dreams though? Because it's like, if you got everything that you've been asking for now, wouldn't you just find more stuff to ask for?
like,
It's really it's really that simple. It's like, what if you get everything you've been dreaming about, um, and then you get to dream about new stuff, and then you get to go on new adventures and see how that is going to show up. Will you ever get like run out of experiences to ask for, or stuff to ask for, or people in your life that you can ask for? And that's, maybe I didn't say that even, but you can ask for anything. It can be like what you want to do, what you want to have in your life, like material stuff, but also like, what kind of people would you like in your life? What kind of businesses would you like to play with? What kind of possibilities would you like to have in your life? Where in the world would you like to go or be or visit or experience in some way? So you
exactly.
can ask for anything.
That's what I love about probably the class that you're going to have and the access classes, that it gets you out of the place of lack, and it gets you out of the place of either or. Because I was in an either or before, like, oh, I could choose that, but I cannot choose that too. Like I've got to choose, because how many times when you're a little kid does your mom and dad tell you that, oh, you can have one piece of candy, so you have to choose, or one flavored ice cream, so you got to choose. You can't have them all. So
Mm-hmm.
what if that is like the greatest lie that's been like perpetrated on us our whole life? And what if that's actually what this day is all about, to get you out of, so that you can create everything that Teresa have been talking about, like these endless possibilities and this journey of ever expanding expansion of your life and living.
You can have your cake and eat it too. That's like the funniest expression in English I know, because I never got it. I mean, why would you want to have your cake if you couldn't eat it? I mean, it doesn't make
I
sense
just
to me.
like to look at my cake because it's so pretty. I don't
This
want to eat it.
totally doesn't make sense to me. If anyone has like a logical explanation for that expression, can they please like post it in the Facebook event or something? Because I'm really wondering about that. How does that make sense? To have a cake and not be allowed to eat it?
I love that. There's so many expressions that are so funny that I can just start laughing at. But yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what if you could have the freaking cake and eat it too, and even
And then
yeah,
you can just order a new cake when you're done.
exactly.
Yeah.
How many cakes would you like to have in your life?
I love it.
Yeah, and so Therese, your
Yeah.
class is on the 7th of February 2015. So people have a bit of while to sign up for it and to plan for it and to create space for it in their schedules. So I love that, and I'm actually the organizer. So if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask me or Therese, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And I'm super excited. That's why I'm organizing this day, so I can be in the class. But yeah, because like I said, trees have like this razor sharp awareness, and yeah, if you really are willing to actually have everything you want, you're so welcome to come and play. Whatever it is that you desire, Therese can probably get you where you need to go. I don't want to promise too much, but like, yeah, it's gonna be a cool class. I can tell you that.
To look my fib. Yeah, and even if you're don't know if you're totally willing to get what you want, you can come anyway, and we will play
Find
with
out
that.
what you're willing to have.
Exactly, we will play with that and see what fun you can have with what you are willing to have.
Exactly. So that's the thing. We're playing with wherever you're at right now. So you don't have to be at some special place to be able to attend. And you don't actually have to have any prerequisites. I never been able to say that word, so I'm just going to whisper it.
I think it was the wine.
Yeah, I know the word, but just like
prerequisites. You don't have to have been or done anywhere or anything before you come to the class. You're welcome whatever you are and whatever you want to ask for, and we will hopefully have some fun. That's my I have a plan. That's my plan, to have fun and see how that shows up.
And maybe you noticed, but we have a kind of a wicked sense of humor, so it's usually a lot of laughter. So yeah.
A wicked sense of humor. I like that.
Yeah, Wicked Witches of the West. And it's actually 8 o'clock, and I'm so grateful that you took the time, Therese, and talked to us and answered all the questions, and we've got in just so much in this hour, so it just flew by.
It flew by. The time flies. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me and being an awesome Google Hangout organizer, whatever you call it. I have no clue how to do this stuff by myself, so I'm really happy to be here with you.
Yeah,
I feel like I've been in really good hands.
And you can see, our web pages here, and you can just check those out if you want to. Both me and Therese have classes in Stockholm and like all over Sweden or whatever you want us to come, maybe. And we do sessions. So you can just contact us with whatever you're acquiring about.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I just want to say I'm excited to see what can show up for everyone when they start playing with the tools and see what they can create in their lives.
Me too. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone that's been watching and will watch in the future. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.
Bye.